So the themes that are explored, I'm dealing with societal issues, racial injustice, inequality. I'm talking about politics. I'm talking about it's. I don't want it to be. I don't want to explain it in a way that I've got it in my head because it's nuts in the way that I think about it. But the idea is that it's a poet looking out into the world, as we all do, as we all see what's going on. And it starts with the easy stuff. It starts with slewing off politicians. It starts with going, that's wrong, call that thing out in the world because we know it's wrong. And we can all agree, we should agree, that these things are wrong. And then it goes from that. And it's all things that are connected to me. So things that are connected to black people, black culture, globally, and saying this is wrong, this is wrong. And then it goes outside of that, just to go, actually, the injustices that I feel and experience and witness don't just happen to me or people who look like me, but they happen to loads of other people, and they're happening all over the world. And using my platform to just be and speak about these things. And the idea was we've got these moments, big moments, where we are just looking out of the world, at the world. And I wanted to have a moment where we look in, where I look in, actually, as a person, as a man. Because the version of the story of Made You Look that makes the most sense to me is that the performer, me, I'm a mouthpiece, I'm a vessel, and that's all I am. I don't have really anything else about me. All I can do is get on stage, get on my soapbox, be righteous, and tell people what's wrong with the world. Looking out and never looking in. And then there's a moment where I want you to strip all of that back. And let's talk about how these things that I talk about, that I see, how they can affect me internally. And what does that look like? It's almost like if it had like if the show had a surname, it would be like Death of an Activist or something. It would be someone who uses all of their energy to just fight, because that's all they know. It's just fight. Before they could learn anything else, they just fought everything. But if you're fighting the outward world all the time, you might be getting beaten up on the inside. I don't think there's a transition from what I do, performance poetry, to theatre, because I like the term performance poetry. I'm a poet, yes. I'm a spoken word artist, yes. But what I do, the best version of me that will ever exist, is on a stage in front of a live audience. And that's performance poetry for me. Going into theatre, it doesn't really feel like it's a theatrical, it doesn't feel like theatre, it feels like there are theatrical elements, because it's what people expect. We are in a theatre, we're on a stage, so I can see why there is the theatre element in there. But for me, is how much can I push performance poetry, my own performance poetry? It really started in the pandemic, when I realized that after a few months, I didn't miss performing. And I was like, oh, does that mean I don't love what I do? Have I lost the passion for what I do? And I realized I kind of did lose the passion, because I was just going through the motions. Performing, I've always said performing is my favorite thing in the world, but I would just go through the motions. I'll follow the standard like outline of a spoken word set. You know, you got your 10, 15 minutes, you got your 20 minutes, you do this, you do that, you give them something good, you test out something that you're not sure of in the middle, you end with your best and you move on. And I didn't like, when reflecting during the pandemic, I didn't like the range of emotions that the audience go through in a traditional spoken word set. There's nothing that we can actually, there's no time for true catharticism. It's just snapshots of this, of that. And I wanted to come out of the pandemic and actually start honing in and going, this is the emotion for the evening now, and we're just going to do this, and we're just going to focus here. and see what happens. So working with Finn Townsend, working with Corey Campbell, they have taken the text, we've created a world, a narrative, and we've gone, how can my body, how can the world around me, how can this set enhance the poetry and the performance of the poetry without acting, but a bit of acting, you know, without acting, but being completely in the world. And that's what I think the difference is. We haven't like created a theatre show. I've written the poetry and we've created the world that poetry lives in. Within that, I don't feel like I'm acting because I didn't want to act. I don't feel like I'm acting. I feel like I'm just being me, responding to the things around me because we've set very clear parameters of what the world of this poetry for Made You Look is. This is where I want to go with my career. I've always like said it since the pandemic. I was like, I know there's more inside me. And I think if we're honest with ourselves, we kind of know. As like artists, we know if there's more inside us. And sometimes it's difficult to like explain that to people because it sounds, I don't know, it sounds a bit like corny or a bit pompous. Like, you know, I've got more potential. Like it sounds weird, but I have truly felt inside me that I've got more that I can do. And being here with different minds, coming from different places, Corey's movement. Corey's a sick director, but Corey's been focused on the movement. Finn Townsend, amazing director. Got Charway, music producer, but he's here implementing the sounds. And it's just, I felt my brain turn to plastic, this whole process. And it's like expanded and contracted, but I feel like I can just still be me. And I've really, really pushed myself like to the limit of what I have right now. And I know there's more, but this is something, this form works for me. This form is where I feel most at home because I love how hot I get when I'm doing it. I love the sweat. I love we are on a roll and there's no turning back now. We don't have 3 minutes of it. We're just gonna stay here for the next 40. And it just fills me with joy. So I can't wait to do this. I want to tour this around the world. I'm telling you, I want to tour this around the world and then just keep going with more.